let me take it back real quick because you said something that was so important to your journey and something that, again, viewers can relate to. You said your parents kicked you out of home for being in love with someone, being in love with a man, being in a relationship with a man. What is your story in regards to you telling them and to a point where they said, just leave? And are you in contact or what is your relationship like with them today?
Yeah, the context around that story started with the person I was dating at the time. He and I were seen to my family as best friends. He already had graduated from high school, but yet he was always around. And why wouldn't he if he and I were dating? However, my parents were going out of town to see my family in New Jersey, and they needed an additional carry-on bag and or something to carry, knickknacks that they were traveling with. And they came into my room and looked at my stuff, and under my bed was my partner's book bag, and inside his book bag were all these porno tapes. And I mean, I'm just like
Oh my God.
flabbergasted, and I get this. I can't recall if it's a phone call or a text message. I feel like it was a text message from my mother saying, "Hey, we found what was in the bag. Make sure we see you when we get home from out of town." And like my whole heart just dropped. Every bit of me sunk, and like we
Oh,
drove home and like ran downstairs to my room, and yep, along my bed was like it was like 6 or 7 tapes in there. I'm like, who in the world carries this many tapes?
see,
But
and you
like
guys were teenagers.
we were,
Oh
yes,
my
we were
God.
every bit of teenagers, but like he and I weren't like
This is a TV show. I don't know. Oh my
he and I
God.
weren't unaware together. Like we both knew the tapes existed. We both knew that he was bringing them over. Like he was going to spend the weekend there while my family was out of town. Like I didn't want to go with my family, and so every bit of us knew what we were getting ourselves into.
Was your family, was your, I'm sorry, was your family reserved? Is your family very reserved?
Um, yes, absolutely. Conservative to the fullest. Grandparents, my grandmother, she was a pastor. Both my parents are pastors.
Mm.
I too started a church back in 2012.
Corey, is there anything you haven't done? Hold on, wait a second. You started. I can't with Corey. I can't with Corey. I can't with
No,
Corey.
because like, listen, every bit of me is wanting to tell this story. Every bit of me is wanting to give my viewers an opportunity to get to know me because, like I said, it was the journey of life that I was born into that kind of led me on this path of ascension to mastering myself.
Well, I want to actually get into that, but I want you to finish telling me. So they tell me you came home, and now what's happening?
So I came home, I see the tapes, and he and I just kind of like tremble for the next 2, 3 days, right? That Saturday, Sunday,
Oh, so they're
Monday,
gone
they're
ever since.
gone.
Okay.
They're out of town. That Saturday, Sunday, we're trembling, not even really excited about life or any of that. It kind of got stripped from us. And I didn't expect my parents to kick me out, but I also want to say,
Did
it,
your brothers know?
one of my brothers knew. And yes, one of my brothers did know, and I'll leave the rest for the book. But I will say this: it was not unheard of for a parental reaction of that degree for me. So, like, for me to say, "Oh, I got kicked out of my parents' house," and I did not expect that, I would be lying. And so, I will say though, they, like every other parent or every other scenario that had come before me, they too had a misunderstanding of what it meant for me to be in love with the person of the same gender. Every bit of my parents felt like they made a mistake and or they did something wrong, and in their attempt to want me to change my life, the ultimatum of staying in the house or needing to leave was put on the table, right? And so it wasn't as if, oh, we found out that you were gay, get out of the house. It was, if you're going to continue in this lifestyle, as if one could just stop, right?
Right.
Then you need to remove yourself from their home. And so, of course, I just removed myself from their home. And I also do not believe they expected that response from me either.